Falls are the leading cause of death in construction. Each year, falls account for about a third of all deaths that occur in construction. Now the thing about this is that those deaths could have been prevented. Hi, I'm Surgeon with Arthur and Hansen, and this is the start of our new fall prevention series. Workers across all industries are exposed to falls on a daily basis. However, construction workers are at greatest risk of falling to a lower level, resulting in injury or death. To understand why it's so common, let's understand what the hazard actually is. Ultimately, why does everything that goes up come back down? Right, gravity. And we can't do anything to remove gravity from our work sites. Now, I'm sure most of you watching this video understand how gravity works, but let's quickly go over some simple physics to further emphasize the significance of falls. Let's start with Newton's 3 laws of motion, being 1, an object in motion tends to stay in motion and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. 2, force equals mass times acceleration. Now keep this one in mind, we're going to expand on this more later on. And 3, for every action there is an equal or opposite reaction. Like I said, we're going to focus on the second law of motion, which is force equals mass times acceleration. By definition, force is a push or pull upon an object resulting from the object's interaction with another object. So, when you apply this to a falling person, the amount of force generated from their fall will determine how hard the person's body will hit a lower level. Now the force will depend on the mass and acceleration of the person falling. The mass is the amount of weight of the person, including all his clothing and other equipment or tools that that person may be carrying or wearing. And the acceleration is a measurement of change in an object's velocity. So, as soon as that body starts to descend levels, the acceleration will increase rapidly. If we go back to the equation of force equals mass times acceleration, we see that the more weight the person carries and the higher they fall from, allowing that person to gain acceleration, the more force they would deliver and receive when they impact a lower level. So, what does all this mean? Simply put, the greater the force, the greater chance the fall may result in a serious injury or death. And if we apply these laws on the greater exposure that construction workers have when working at heights, compared to other industries, we can see why there's so many deaths in this industry that result from falls. Now that we understand why falls are such a high risk in construction, let's go over how we can protect ourselves and our workforce from falls when working from heights. For starters, we must always ensure that there is a competent person on site. A competent person is designated by the employer and is someone who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings or working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. So what does a competent person do and why are they so important? A competent person carries out very important tasks such as performing frequent and regular inspections of the job site, training each employee on how to recognize fall hazards and the procedures to be followed in order to minimize these hazards, inspecting any personal fall arrest system and components subjected to impact loading to determine if they are undamaged and suitable for reuse, and evaluating any substitution or change to a personal fall arrest system. A competent person is crucial to make sure employees are safe and not exposed to hazards such as falls whenever possible. And when they are exposed to a fall, a competent person has the appropriate knowledge and resources to promptly correct or control the hazard. Now the next component needed to help prevent falls is training. Employees who work at heights must be trained in the following areas: the nature of fall hazards in the work area, the correct procedures for erecting, maintaining, disassembling, and inspecting the fall protection systems to be used, the role of employees in fall protection plans, applicable OSHA fall protection standards, the role of each employee in safety plans and systems in place, and the correct procedures for the handling and storage of equipment and materials, including overhead materials. Training is crucial for ensuring workers understand how to identify, avoid, correct, and report hazardous conditions in the workplace. Training alone may reduce injuries and illnesses. But of course, there's more we have to do. And that, of course, is putting fall prevention systems in place. Now there are 2 types of fall prevention systems we can use to protect workers when working from heights. The first types are conventional fall prevention systems, and they include guardrail systems, safety net systems, and personal fall arrest systems. These systems rely more heavily on engineered equipment and personal protective equipment, and are some of the most reliable methods for preventing falls. The other types are alternative methods, and they include warning line systems, fall protection plans, controlled access zones, safety monitoring systems, and controlled decking zones. These methods rely heavily on administrative or procedural controls and can be less effective if they are not properly implemented and monitored. We hope this video has given you a better understanding of the significant risk that falls pose on construction workers and the basic things we can do to prevent falls in our workplace. Have a competent person, ensure people are trained, and use safety systems to prevent falls. Be sure to stay tuned for our next video in the series, as we'll go more into depth on the types of conventional fall protection systems that we can implement to prevent and protect our workers from falls. If you need any assistance with your fall protection program or your safety program as a whole, feel free to contact us using the information provided below. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos like these. And comment down below what you would like for us to cover next. Also, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms to stay updated with our latest safety tips and tricks. And as always, until next time, be safe and thank you.